When Mortal Kombat was released in 1995, Hollywood had already learned how unstable video game adaptations could be at the box office. Super Mario Bros. Had arrived in 1993 with a reported production budget close to $48 million. Its worldwide gross stopped at roughly $21 million. A year later, Double Dragon earned around $2.3 million in North America from a budget reported near $8 million. These were recognizable game brands with theatrical releases behind them, and both had left a financial warning on the table.
Mortal Kombat.
Street Fighter complicates the picture. The film received harsh reviews, yet its worldwide gross approached $100 million from a reported $35 million budget. It showed that the market existed. It also showed how unpredictable the result could be. Into that uncertainty came Lawrence Kasanoff. Kasanoff had built his career as a producer across commercial media, music videos, film, and franchise development. Through Threshold Entertainment, he secured the film rights to Mortal Kombat and saw an opportunity in a property that already had a global identity, iconic fighters, a tournament, a supernatural world, and a sound that people could recognize in seconds.
If you won't fight with all of your heart, there is no hope.
Paul W.S. Anderson was chosen as director for the film. Anderson had just made his first feature film, Shopping, a very low-budget British film with car stunts, aggressive movement, and a visually kinetic style. Michael DeLuca saw Shopping and was impressed by how much action Anderson had created with very little money. DeLuca then gave him a chance to pitch for Mortal Kombat. Anderson himself already knew the game. He had spent time playing it in London arcades, so he came to the meeting with a genuine familiarity and a strong desire to direct it. During the pitch process, he kept bringing producers ideas for scenes and characters. The major obstacle was visual effects. He had never made an effects-heavy film. Later, he recalled going to Samuel French bookshop and buying every book he could find on Mattel paintings, CGI, and visual effects production. He used that crash course to speak confidently in later meetings. His own description was that he kind of bluffed his way in, while the producers saw his enthusiasm and preparation. Combined with New Line Cinema's carefully timed marketing campaign, the film reached theaters in August 1995 with a production budget of around $20 million and went on to gross roughly $122 million worldwide.
I am responsible for Chan's death.
No.
Mortal Kombat introduces its three main heroes quickly, but each introduction gives us enough information to understand who they are, what drives them, and why they enter the tournament. Liu Kang begins with a nightmare. He sees Shang Tsung kill his brother Chan and take his soul. In a single scene, the film establishes the danger of the tournament and a personal reason Liu Kang has to enter it. Robin Shou brought a background in Hong Kong action cinema to the role. Mortal Kombat became his first major Hollywood leading role, giving him the opportunity to bring that physical experience into a mainstream American production. Johnny Cage gets one of the film's most memorable introductions.
The stance.
What first looks like a classic action sequence, Cage fighting amid explosions, cameras, and stunt work, turns out to be a movie set.
This is where you fall down.
This clever introduction is immediately defining Johnny Cage. He is an action star, confident, loves the spotlight, and still has something to prove beyond Hollywood's image of him. Sonya Blade is after revenge. She is chasing Kano after he kills her partner and escapes, bringing her directly into Shang Tsung's tournament. Bridgette Wilson took over the role after Cameron Diaz, who was originally cast as Sonya, suffered a wrist injury during training and had to leave the production. Wilson trained extensively for the role and had to quickly prepare for a physically demanding action film. Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, Sonya Blade, three fighters in the same boat, waiting to arrive on a mystical island for the Mortal Kombat. Raiden appears as a stranger in a battered hat talking about ancient tournaments while Johnny Cage assumes he has stepped onto the wrong cruise. Liu Kang, knowing exactly who Raiden is, reacts with anger. He grew up with stories about the God of Thunder, then walked away from the temple because the future they wanted for him felt too heavy. Seeing Raiden in front of him brings that old anger straight back to the surface. If Raiden was real, then why was he nowhere to be found when Chan died? Christopher Lambert gives Raiden a strange mix of mythic weight and playful energy. He had already become closely associated with fantasy adventure through Highlander, so the film could introduce him with very little explanation. Raiden tells them that the Earthrealm has already lost 9 tournaments, and one more defeat will give Outworld the right to invade.
And why doesn't he just invade us?
You fear your own destiny.
The tournament begins and the film shows 2 very different versions of what Mortal Kombat action can be. Liu Kang against Sub-Zero is the martial arts showcase. Robin Shou gets room to move. The camera regularly keeps both fighters and the space around them visible, and the fight builds around Sub-Zero's ice powers, with that unmistakable texture of 1995 CGI. Johnny Cage vs. Scorpion is the film's most elaborate fantasy action sequence. It keeps changing the scale of the fight. It starts as a tournament match in the courtyard.
Get over here!
The fight uses a large firelit set, wirework, stunt falls, creature effects, pyrotechnics and early CGI to turn on one match up into a full action set piece. Johnny Cage, played by the charismatic Linden Ashby, trained for 2 months to prepare for the role. Despite already having a martial arts background, the more demanding fight sequences were shared with fight double J.J. Perry and stunt double Brad Martin. Sonya Blade gives the cleanest personal payoff of the 3. Kano could her partner, pulled her into Shang Tsung's world and spent the journey treating her pursuit like a joke. When they finally fight, Sonya uses her speed and control to trap him with her legs, takes him to the ground and breaks his neck. Her mission ends exactly where it began, with Kano.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat still has a few more fights to enjoy. Johnny Cage gets his moment against Goro, the champion everyone has been warned about. Liu Kang faces Reptile during the trip through Outworld, and his brief fight with Kitana quietly pushes the story forward, which gives him the clue he needs against Sub-Zero. By this point, the tournament has done its job. It brought all the characters together, gave each of them a reason to fight, and created the structure for the first half of the film.
After Goro falls, the story shifts into a rescue mission when Shang Tsung takes Sonya into Outworld. This is also where the rules become a little loose. The film explains enough for us to understand the stakes. Earthrealm has lost 9 tournaments, and one more loss gives Outworld the right to invade. The exact format of the tournament stays vague. There is no clear bracket, no proper explanation of eliminations, and no real sense of who is still officially competing. But in exchange, the story gets room to move when Shang Tsung takes Sonya and tries to make her his final opponent. The problem is that Sonya has to accept the challenge. Kitana points that out and Shang Tsung's plan starts falling apart. Liu Kang steps forward and challenges him instead. That brings the film back to where it began. Liu Kang faces the man who killed Chan. The final fight plays out exactly the way you would hope it would. The classic Mortal Kombat theme kicks in, the two finally meet face to face, and after spending the entire movie building toward this moment, Liu Kang finally gets his chance to fight the man who murdered his brother. Shang Tsung quickly reminds us that he is far more than another martial artist. He calls upon the souls he has stolen over countless tournaments, forcing Liu Kang to fight the people Shang Tsung has already defeated. Then comes the film's most personal moment. The evil sorcerer takes the appearance of Chen, hoping Liu Kang's grief will become his greatest weakness. It almost works for a moment until Liu realizes that his brother would never stand for such evil by choice. He breaks free from the illusion, regains his focus, and finishes the fight. With Shang Tsung defeated, the stolen souls are finally released. Chan is free and Liu Kang completes his journey that began with a nightmare in the opening minutes. It is a simple ending, though it delivers exactly the emotional payoff the film has been building toward from the very beginning. And just when everything seems over and we enjoy our happy ending, the sky tears open and Shao Kahn finally reveals himself, announcing that he has come to claim Earthrealm. Raiden looks up with a smile and replies,
I don't think so.
The Mortal Kombat theme returns one last time. The heroes stand together and the film ends with the promise of another adventure. We just didn't know yet that the sequel would become one of the biggest disappointments in the franchise. Looking back, Mortal Kombat proved something that Hollywood had been struggling with for years. A video game could become a successful blockbuster without abandoning the identity that made people love the games in the first place. It kept the tournament, the characters, the music, and the atmosphere. Enough of the original mythology to feel authentic while keeping the story focused enough for newcomers to follow. Critics were far less enthusiastic. Roger Ebert gave the film a 2.5 out of 4 stars, describing it as a better-made adaptation than he expected, although still limited by its material. Other critics were much harsher, arguing that the dialogue was weak and the story existed mainly to connect the fights. But we audiences saw something different. We embraced the energy, the soundtrack, and the cast, the simple confidence with which the film brought Mortal Kombat to the screen. More than 30 years later, that is probably the film's biggest achievement. It still feels like a time capsule of 1995. The music, the costumes, the practical sets, the early CGI with its perfect illusion, the martial arts and the unapologetic style all come together to create an experience that remains unmistakably Mortal Kombat. My name is Rachel Jones.
And I'm David Sunshine.
Flawless victory.